today. Good morning, Maddie. How are you?
Good morning. How about you?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
Thanks for participating in this interview. First thing I want to ask is, can you talk about the art courses you had while you were in high school here at Carl Sandburg?
Sure. So, as a junior, I started to take some art courses. This was post orchestra high school career. And I started with, I remember drawing one with Mr. E. And then I took some classes with Miss Mike. I can't remember the title of those courses, but I remember that we did a lot of paper cutting and gluing. So that was always fun, learning a lot of technical stuff with her. Um, and I feel like I took one or two more with Mr. E until I got to Mrs. Mike's AP art class as a
Okay.
senior.
Okay. And at that point, you decided, like, hey, I'm going to make the commitment to this for college as a major.
Definitely. So, growing up, I had a grandfather who was in the art field
Mm-hmm.
um, in Chicago, but I never actually met him. But he was always kind of like this figure in the back of my mind saying, hey, that's pretty cool if one of my ancestors was able to do this,
Sure,
maybe
sure.
too. So, yeah, I took some art classes in high school to see if that's maybe a route I would want to go. And then it just took off from there. I was like, hey, maybe I actually could do this for a living. And here I am. So,
Cool.
yeah.
And so you ended up going to school in Minneapolis, right? What's the school?
MCAD, so Minneapolis College of Art and Design. I did one visit here in my senior year of high school and I fell in love with it. I mean, I came during this art sale that we have and I saw all the work that everyone was doing at this college and it just blew my mind. And I was like, I want to make art like that. So I knew right away I wanted to come here.
That's great. And then your career choice obviously is directly related to that education. So how did MCAT end up preparing you?
So, in the beginning, you go through a preliminary classes sort of vibe where you take one of basically everything from
Sure.
3D to we did some metal work in there, and then you do the drawing and painting and some digital courses, some media courses, so that they expose you to everything to make sure you've tried everything at that point.
Yeah,
And then after that first year, you can go into whatever you wanted to pursue. And I think you declare in the second or third, well, definitely second year. So I knew I wanted to be an illustrator at that point, and then I became an illustrator.
so you built up a portfolio, right? And tell me about your how you ended up in your current job.
Yeah, so throughout college, I took a lot of illustration courses that I kind of directed towards what I wanted to do, and I kind of made it be the portfolio, of course, that I wanted. So I wanted to do children's work. And at that point, I was thinking I wanted to be a children's book illustrator. So I would kind of gear my projects towards that so that in the end, I would have a portfolio that an employer that I was seeking would, you know, enjoy. So I ended up doing a lot of children's work throughout my college career. And then in the end, I happened to have this very children's forward portfolio, and my employer came through it during our senior review, where everyone has all of their artwork up. I'm pretty sure Sandberg does this as well. Their senior year, you have your portfolio, and then everyone walks through and sees everyone's work.
Hmm.
And then all of our employers are able to come through at
So
that
it's like a
point.
job, potential job fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A job fair, so to speak. Looking at everyone's senior portfolios, and that's when hopefully you would hope an employer will pick you up, and that's where I got my job.
And your job is that.
Manhattan Toy, which is in
Okay.
Minneapolis. So I'm creating toys for babies and children um, in Minneapolis.
All right. And so, and you, I think you mentioned that Manhattan Toys has been nominated for some awards. Is that correct?
Yeah, Toy of the Year awards. So I work with one of my coworkers that is a technical designer. So he does all like the wood um, designing, how to put these toys together, and they're actually musical toys that we've been getting awards for. And so he'll create all the wood shapes, figure out how to put them together, how they work, and then I get to slap some awesome art on there, and then people will see it and they will say, "This deserves an award." So,
So this is going to be an obvious question. Can you talk about how your job satisfies you creatively speaking?
yep. So I get to wake up in the morning, and since I work from home right now, I just get to go on my computer, figure out what I need to do for the day, and I start my drawing. I get my trend work in there. Um, I mean, directly speaking, I just get to be an artist all day long, which is
And,
amazing.
and get paid for it, which is
And get
nice.
right, yes.
um, so what are some everyday challenges you face in your current job?
Yep. So some days we are a small company every day, but some days we will have to, as a small design team, take on some projects that, um, say it's a project that we typically need to get done in a week. Sometimes we have to fit that in a day, or sometimes a day's work we'll have to fit into an hour, which I just had to do yesterday. Just because sales pitches will come up and we have to prepare for those, and we want to meet those deadlines. So we just got to get our work done pretty quickly. Um, and I mean, sometimes it's a challenge, but I mean, it's always fun. Like one time I had to get a children's book. We did a couple children's books for Target just a couple seasons ago, and I had to do a whole children's book within a week. Granted, it was only like a 16-page children's book, but I mean, it's a little rough sometimes like that. But I mean, it's a children's book. That's what I wanted to do in
Right,
my
right.
career. So here I am.
Well, as a father of young children who frequently reads to them, I'm always impressed by the details, and I always think about the time it takes. And yeah, those time crunches can definitely be a challenge. But again, you're doing what you love.
Exactly. So
So, last question then. What advice would you give to your younger self?
well, and I think it's advice for myself right now, continuing to grow, as cliche as it is. I do think that you should just keep doing what you love, because if I wasn't doing what I loved from the start, I wouldn't be here right now. Um, and I think I'm just going to continue to take that advice for myself and see where it takes me, because I mean, it got me here. So
Sure.
keep on plugging along with the stuff that I love every day.